Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Shalom Aleichem. So we're sort of nearing the end of Sefer Tzipisa Yoshua, and the Chofetz Chaim is advancing the argument that if somebody's really awaiting the coming of Mashiach, then how can one not study the laws of Kodshim? Firstly, when Mashiach comes, we're going to need to know what to do, and we cannot delay even a minute. We see how we were mevatel the mitzvah of Maser Sheni Bizman Hazeh, the din of Maser Behema Bizman Hazeh, because of the possibility that Mashiach might come suddenly. We won't have enough animals to be makriv for karbanos. And the Chofetz Chaim said yesterday, in what we learned, that don't think only Kohanim need to know what to do, because every Jew has to learn Kodshim, because learning Kodshim is actually like bringing karbanos. Says the Chofetz Chaim, you might argue and say, well, Kodshim is very important, but it's not as important as Hilchos Tefillah, Hilchos Shabbos, Hilchos Brachos, because those are things that I actually perform every single day. So those are Noigea Lamaisa, but Kodshim does not seem to be Noigea Lamaisa. Says the Chofetz Chaim, Hine Yadati Es HaTshuvos Asher Yoshiva. I know the answers that people are going to respond. Ki biyamenu tirdos hazman merubos. Nowadays, there are many things vying for our time. There are many things that occupy our time. There are many things that keep us busy. Umishpat hakadima lahalachos hanuhugos v'zman hazeh. And we have to give precedence to those halachos that are applicable nowadays. So even if you say Kodshim is very important, but don't we have to give precedence to those halachos that are noigea lamaisa, that are relevant and practical every day? But says the Chofetz Chaim, Aval Eshalem, I would respond and ask back to them, Halo yesh kama mesechtos, there are many mesechtos, asher rubam enam shayachim mizmanein l'maisa. Many mesechtos that the majority of them are not relevant in our times. Kamay roiv meseches Sanhedrin. The majority of Mesechtas Sanhedrin is not noigea l'maisa. U'meseches makos, v'roiv meseches yevamos, v'oid kahena. Asher ein noyagois bizmanein l'maisa. They don't really apply bizman hazeh. V'afal pikein, nevertheless, loim d'moisan b'iyun kayos. People learn it with great depth and analysis, as is proper. V'lama yigara chelek Kodshim. Why should the portion of Kodshim be any less? Chelek hakarbanos mi beis ha'elokenu. The portion of the laws of sacrifices in the house of Hashem, mi mesechtos ahim, from those mesechtos. And now the Chofetz Chaim therefore says, number one, Kodshim is more relevant than many mesechtos. Number two, and this is really out of this world, Kodshim has a status of halacha l'maisa. Really? How could Kodshim have a status of halacha l'maisa? The Gamash from the Gemara, Shaseder hazeh hayanechshav b'mei hamaram lo moed l'masa. It's also mashma in the Gemara that this order was considered in the times of the Amoraim halacha l'maisa k'may shar sidarim, like the other sidarim. We know that out of the Shisha Sidrei Mishnah, there's only Gemara on moed, nashim, nezikim, and Kodshim. And that's because, as we're going to see, Kodshim is considered halacha l'maisa. V'hu hakol mitam shekasavnu, and the reason is for the reason that we mentioned. Sha'kadosh Baruch Hu mekabel halimad lekarban k'may b'zman habayis. Hashem accepts the learning about Kodshim as if one brought a carbon, like in the times that the Beis Hamikdash stood. And therefore, in anu yichaylam liftar atzmeinu milimud hazeh, we cannot exempt ourselves from this limud. K'may shalai hayichaylam liftar mikarban b'zman habayis, just like we cannot exempt ourselves from bringing a carbon in the time that the Beis Hamikdash stood. V'hu b'bav metzia. The proof that Kodshim is considered halacha l'maisa comes from Masechta Bava Metzia, Daf Kuf Yadalid. The Ashkach Rabba Baravua Eliyahu. Rabba Baravua met Eliyahu. V'shoal lo yisay Eliyahu. Eliyahu asked Rabba Baravua, Lama lo lamad seder taharos. Why don't you learn taharos? The Hashivai, Rabba Baravua responded, Bi'arba lo matzina. I cannot even properly learn 4 sections of the Mishnah. B'shita matzina, you think I can learn all 6? I cannot even learn all 4 that are relevant, let alone 6. Uperish Rashi ba'arba, which 4 was he focused on that he had a hard time learning? He says, Begirsa de Arba Sidarim. Rashi explains in the four Sidarim, Kagoin Moyed, the laws of Yom and Tovim, Nashim, the laws of marriage, Nazikin, damages, Shehin Noigas Bizman Hazeh. All of those are applicable today, Kamay Bizman Habayis, as they were when the Beis Hamikdash stood. Says Rashi, the Kodshim Nami, learning Kodshim also is considered Halacha L'maisa. It's considered Noyeg Bizman Hazeh. K'dichsev, like it says, Uv'chal Makoim Muktar Mugash L'shmi, and in every place where they sacrifice and they bring karbanos for my name. What does that mean? In every place they bring karbanos, but the Beis Hamikdash is destroyed. Says Rashi, Va'amrinan Menachos, the Gemara says Menachos, Elu Talmidei Chachamim ha'oiskim b'hilchos avoda. These are the Torah sages that engage in the halachos of avoda. Mala aleim hakasav, the Torah considers it ki'ilu makrivin oisan b'Beis Hamikdash, as if they brought the karbanos in the Beis Hamikdash. So I can't even master the four Sidarim that are Noigea L'maisa, B'shita Matzina. You think I could master 6? Zraim Einoi Noig B'chutz La'aretz. Zraim does not apply outside of Eretz Yisrael. V'chein Taharos Ad Kan L'shainai. Think about it. Zraim is considered not relevant because it's not applicable in Eretz Yisrael. And Kodshim is relevant? Kodshim is not even relevant in Eretz Yisrael. No, Kodshim is even relevant in Chutz La'aretz. Why? Because it's considered as if you brought it. Harei b'seder Kodshim hayu loimdim ha'amaram k'may shar starim. Kodshim, the Amaram learned like the other orders of the Mishnah. Umitam zeh, and it's for this reason. Sidru Ravashi v'Ravina. Ravashi and Ravina arranged. V'adoris habam in the later generations. Gemara al kol seder Kodshim. Ravashi and Ravina, they arranged Gemara on all of Kodshim. Ashlayasukin b'zram uv'taharas. They did not do this to Zram and Taharas. Av shahayo lahem tleisar mesifta. Even though they had 13 yeshivas, gam am Masechas Uktzin, even to learn Masechta Uktzin, Kedisa Bebrachos. So even though there were 13 academies studying Uktzin, there was no Gemara that was established for Taras, but there was for Kodshim. Why? V'hainu mitam hanal, for the above mentioned reason. The limud Kodshim nechshav liYisrael, because the learning of Kodshim is considered for the Jewish people ki'ilu makrivin oid hakarbanis, as if they're still bringing karbanis. V'chein kasav harambam, and likewise the Rambam writes beferish hamishnayis b'seif mesachas menachos v'zal shainai. The Rambam in his commentary to the Mishnah at the end of Menachos writes, Amru Chazal, Talmidei Chachamim ha'oiskim hilchas avoda, Torah scholars who are learning the laws of karbanos, Male aleim hakasav, the Torah considers it ki'ilu nivna Beis Hamikdash b'yimeim, as if the Beis Hamikdash was built in their times. V'al kain, therefore, roi la'adam l'hisasek b'divrei hakarbanos, it is fitting for people to be engaged in the subject of karbanos, v'lases b'hem, and to discourse in them, and discuss them, and delve into them. V'lo yoymar, and one should not say, harehin dvarim she'in tzarich lehen, these are things that are not needed, bizman hazeh, kamay sha'imrim roiv b'nei adam, like most people say, ad kan l'shainai. This is the language of the Rambam, but what we're learning is, learning the order of Kodshim, learning the subject of Kodshim is considered halacha l'maisa. It's considered you're learning something relevant to Bizman Hazeh, because by learning it, it's like you're being makar of a carbon. Rabbi Sai, we'll see everyone tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Have a wonderful day.